Just because you're a first-time homebuyer does not mean that you need to make all the same mistakes that so many other first-time homebuyers make. I'm Angie Blanco, a realtor here in Miami, Florida with One Path Realty, and in this video, I want to spare you on making a few pretty common first-time homebuyer mistakes. And I know sometimes you just have to go through it yourself firsthand in order to really learn and see for yourself. I've been there. I think we all have. But if I can help you avoid at least one of these things, I think you'll be much better off and much less frustrated. That I know for sure. Mistake number 1, don't go with the lowest interest rate you find just because it's the lowest interest rate. It's not necessarily going to be the best loan option for you nor the best experience. Some lenders can offer you lower interest rates right up front by compensating with things like higher closing costs, premium lender fees, and less attractive loan terms. Granted, your credit score and how much debt you owe will also influence your interest rate, but if you're shopping around and getting a 3.75 at multiple places, and then this one other place offers you a flat 3%, there might be something there that they're not telling you in order for them to offer you such a low interest rate. Or they're just using some bait and switch tactic, which that's never good either. You really want to work with somebody who's transparent, who's a professional in their field, who answers their phone on the weekends, who can call the listing agent of the house you want and vouch for you and tell them how qualified of a buyer you are. That is so helpful, especially in today's market where it is highly competitive and there are so many buyers going head to head. And so you just want to work with somebody who's on your side, basically, who's not going to be surprising you at the end of a transaction with things like additional fees or, worst of all, just not being able to grant you this loan at all because there was something missed right in the beginning of the process that should have been addressed and it wasn't. Now, I'm not trying to say that just because you see a lower interest rate, run, but do some digging, ask some questions, check reviews of other people's experience with that person or with that company. And also, if you have a trusted realtor, ask them who their preferred lender is. I can assure you, a realtor is not going to recommend a lender who offers rainbows and butterflies but can't get a deal closed. Mistake number 2, don't try to time the market. Invest when you are ready. Is now the time you need more space? Is now the time you need that bigger yard for your kids to run around? Do you now have enough savings for the down payment, the closing costs, and to keep a little money in your pocket for that bathroom remodel? Oh, and very important, to feed yourselves. If you answered yes to all of these questions, or to most of them, then the answer is most likely you're ready and your time is now. A lot of people will disregard their personal situation and wait and not buy in hopes of a crash or home prices dropping, and they don't. They keep rising and so do interest rates, and then they kick themselves because shoulda, woulda, coulda. Now, if you're genuinely not interested in buying and maybe you prefer to rent, then that's fine. That's your prerogative. But if you want to make the leap and you feel ready to invest and secure a place for you and your family, then I believe your personal situation should be the deciding factor in doing so, not what might happen in 2 to 3 years from now, since who really knows where we'll all even be at that point in time. Heck, maybe in 2 to 3 years from now, that property that you finally decided to buy today will be worth $100,000 more. You know what they say, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait.
Well, who knows? Who's timing?
Mistake number 3, don't max out your budget and know what your monthly mortgage payment will be. For example, if a lender pre-qualifies you for $350,000, make sure you know what the monthly mortgage payment for that amount will be. If it's too high, then shop around in a price range that yields a more comfortable monthly mortgage payment for you that you can easily pay each and every month. Just because your pre-approval is for $350,000 does not mean that you should spend that much if the numbers don't work for you. Also, every $350,000 property will have a slightly different monthly mortgage payment just because taxes are different for each property, and some properties also have association fees. And so these things will either increase or decrease your monthly mortgage payment. And this is why it's so important for you to have all your bills organized, to know exactly how much your expenses are each and every month so that you know what your range of a comfortable mortgage payment will be. Your lender or your realtor can help you estimate monthly mortgage payments on potential houses you like so that you have a more realistic idea of what each house would cost you. I also imagine you'd want to have a little money left over too each and every month after all your bills are paid and your mortgage, so that you can start replenishing that savings account, taking trips here and there, or buying some really rare NFTs. Mistake number 4. This is a touchy one because everyone has a friend or a family member who's a realtor, and this mistake goes hand in hand with mistake number 1 of Don't go with the lowest interest rate just because it's the lowest interest rate. So don't go with your friend who's a realtor just because they're your friend. Now, if your friend is a freaking beast at realtoring, I just made that word up, and gets all their clients' offers accepted, or most of them, and gets most of them to the finish line, closing, then skip this. But if your friend is a part-time agent who maybe just got their license and is still working their 9 to 5, because let's face it, it takes a lot of time to build up a business in real estate, then you might want to consider working with a more experienced realtor who's full-time in the business, who can dedicate the necessary time to your search, and who's actually had success in this challenging market, because it is quite a difficult time for buyers with the amount of competition there is and how quickly the market is moving. Right now, to get an offer accepted, it really takes a competent agent more than ever, with an edge who can give you creative suggestions to beat out the other offers. And hey, nothing against your friend at all. They got their license, they're making moves, they're transitioning, and nothing but respect for that. Seriously. We've all been there at some point in our lives, and if we haven't, we should be. So props to your friend. Also, there are ways to work around this so that your friend is also involved, and so that they learn and they see the process and they win some too. They won't be your agent for this transaction, but they'll be watching and shadowing and learning, and you're getting your offer accepted on the house you want. A lot of times people feel obligated to use their friend or their family member as their realtor because it would be so messed up not to. But when offer after offer after offer gets rejected, you naturally become discouraged. You've lost so many potential houses that you thought were the perfect fit for you that maybe now you're just over it. You want to take a break, and it just doesn't have to be like that. Your realtor or family member can still be involved and win, and more importantly, so can you. Mistake number 5, thinking small just because you're a first-time home buyer. In my experience, I've met mostly 2 types of first-time home buyers. The ones who are looking for something small, conservative, and cheap to maintain, and then the ones who are looking for something within their budget, but that looks like their dream home, except they don't have a dream home budget. Nothing wrong with either of those. Being on the conservative side is smart. You want to start off small and work your way up. And being on the dreamer side is inspiring. I don't want to say that you won't find it, but we'll probably have to be at it for a while. And hey, that's cool too. But let me share with you an idea that is tangible and available to first-time home buyers that a lot of people don't know about, and will allow you to invest in your first property while setting you up with a juicy cash flowing property.
Are you ready?
A multifamily property. You live in one unit and rent out the others. And you're probably thinking, well, I barely qualify for a small condo. How would I qualify for a whole multifamily property? And basically, the lender pre-approves you just the same, checks your income, your debt, your credit, your taxes, the whole 9, and tells you how much you qualify for. But that pre-approval is only calculating your income alone, you see. If you had additional rental income from 1, 2, or 3 other units, then your income increases, and so does your pre-approval. You following? And maybe now you're thinking, well, wouldn't I have to buy this multifamily property first to then rent out those other units and show that they're actually making me money? And the answer is no, actually. The lender will use comparable rents in that area to average what those other units will rent for and add that income to your qualification. It's an out-of-the-box idea that not all buyers are comfortable with doing, especially not first-time home buyers, but they're the ones who can really benefit from this, since it'll be their first property and their primary property, not an investment property. So with being a first-time home buyer, there are so many more down payment assistance programs available to you that could benefit you for this purchase. And also, having it be your primary residence allows you to put a lower down payment of between 3 to 5% as opposed to 20 to 25% for an investment property. This option is a bigger quote-unquote risk because you're taking out a bigger mortgage, but at the same time, not really, because just like there's a shortage of homes for sale at the moment, there's also a shortage of available rentals. So if you price those units at a competitive rate, even just a hair under market value to increase demand even more, I am certain you'll be paying less for your mortgage on this multifamily than you would have been on a small conservative condo. You might even cash flow. And with being a first-time buyer and taking advantage of all of the benefits, you'll have to live in this property for at least the first year, But then after that, you're free to go. Move into someplace else if you'd like and rent that unit where you were living too. And so then for your next property, you'll have your regular income plus this multifamily property's income, and you'll be setting yourself up to be a financially free, savvy investor. If you have any questions for me or would like to see some properties here in Miami, reach out to me. I would be so happy to connect. And if you're trying to decide where to buy in Miami, check out these 2 videos that I made here on a couple of pretty popular neighborhoods in Miami that maybe you should consider. Happy watching, and I will see you on the next one.